The Christmas light. If you like Toy Story, you'll love the Christmas light. Yeah, right. Even though on the back it says, celebrate Christmas with the first exclusive to video feature-length fully computer animated film. So you can be that guy like, actually, Toy Story is not the first computer animated film. Because Christmas Light came out 2 or 4 days before Toy Story was released in theaters. But this was released on VHS, and only on VHS. And it's in EP mode, which means lower quality picture, but you get more runtime. Your standard VHS tape can hold up to around 2 hours. This film is almost 23 minutes. And it's made by Scimitar Entertainment, who made Slammin' Wrestlers Hits, where they blatantly, even with the names, just stole WWF wrestler themes, and no surprise they got sued for it. The film is narrated by the only actor in the entire film, Dan Haggerty, who you might know as Grizzly Adams. He really does just pick the best Christmas movies to be in. We opened that Christmas town has been converted into a maximum security prison with searchlights and all. Santa also stole the Washington Memorial. Also, the production has been in the toilet because I guess even Santa Claus has to compete with Jeffrey Bezos. But luckily, Santa Claus's head elf, Isaac, has made a thing that creates wooden toys. Ah, cool, it's able to paint that fast? Must be using some of that Citadel contrast.
Isaac, let's start using it this Christmas.
You're only now just automating? No wonder production sucks. The two get called to go somewhere else, and this has to be the ugliest Santa's workshop ever. The walls are flat white, almost like Elf, but at least there you have texture, and it's also meant to kind of contrast with the super colorful elves. And this is the ugliest carpet I've ever seen outside of a 70s bathroom. We got like cigarette box green and red checkers.
Isaac's chief competitor. The other elves don't like Lemon. Some dislike him more than others, but they all dislike him. And they all call him the Lemon behind his back.
I don't really know who Burn Lemon is. Maybe they make fun of him behind his back because he kind of deserves it because he's mean to them.
We won't need these goofy little elves running around here anymore.
But like, aren't you an elf? And running around, the only other elf we've seen is Isaac.
This will prove that I am the one greatest toy maker. I am the one. Greater than Santa, greater than Isaac.
You realize both of your bosses right in front of you, dude. So he pushes in a thing to his computer and it spits out another wooden toy. Even though that's exactly what Isaac's did in a lot smaller space than this big warehouse that Burden needed. So he runs off and starts singing.
It's quick! It's easy! It's even fun! It proves that I'm the one!
Kind of more just talks rather than sings. And the camera's so far away from him, and the music isn't really that much different from the usual backing track it's been playing. I kind of didn't even realize he was supposed to be singing at first. Lemon cloaked and backs up into his machine, and it spits him out as ice. And Isaac accidentally shatters him, which makes him materialize a top hat and becomes the snowman. He vows revenge and will cause a big snowstorm for reasons. Then we meet Jennifer and her brother Jeff. Jen comforts her brother from the storm by singing a song about Christmas light, which is like the light of imagination and caring and Christmas and all that good shit. Meanwhile, Isaac shows Santa Claus about Sled 2, a new jet that's way easier to animate than reindeer. Even more easy to animate, he drops a little pod that turns into basically their Rudolph.
If you think I am going to replace my sled and reindeers with this contraption, you're crazy. Well, Isaac, this sled 2 of yours is working great. We are lost in this gigantic storm.
That's some good sarcasm, you can tell by his inflections.
All this fancy equipment, and what good does it do?
Shut up, Silent Generation. Then they pick up one house that's glowing. Santa teleports in. And I guess Jennifer fell asleep on top of Jeff for some reason, given that Jeff is basically out of the movie. Santa explains himself to Jennifer. She says she's gonna dress up warm, but she keeps her PJs because that's way too much animation. Both get back on board the sled too, and conveniently the snowman alert happens. Jack Frost appears and they have an epic battle. So epic, in fact, despite the fact that he transforms into a saw blade and into his own rocket, there's no sound effects and the music really hasn't changed at all. They send out the drone and they start frying him.
Santa, say the word and X will destroy him.
No, Santa, you'll kill Burton. It's wrong.
I like how Isaac is so willing to burn Lemon, but Jenny raises a fair point, so they decide to turn it off.
You fools! Now I will destroy you!
But then they just right away put on the laser. Instead, they just let Jack Frost turn into Mr. Hand and smashes them, but not too bad because that would cost more animation. Jennifer wanders off and finds a cave which conveniently the snowman is living in. She has a reprise of the Christmas Light song, now a duet with the snowman, which causes snowman to melt and then reform into Burton. The other two show up, and now Burton's repentive of what he did, for reasons.
You know, it's like all the evil I ever had, it left me and stayed with the snowman.
How convenient. And now Burton wants to preach the word of the Christmas light.
Together, we can bring the magic of Christmas to every day of the year. We're the Christmas Brigade.
Sequel bait. And now it's the Christmas light. It's bad. I don't want to be too negative about the animation, given that this really is really early CGI. It definitely is bad, but you can't really hold it to too much standard because, one, it's obviously super cheap, and two, very early on in CGI's lifespan. So yeah, there's a lot of cheats and the backgrounds are terrible, but I'll cut some slack on that. What I'm not cutting slack on is Dan Haggerty is the only good actor in the whole film, and he's the narrator. Everyone else sounds like they're just bored. Being in EP mode was completely pointless. The film feels just very bland. Out of 10, I probably actually would give this a 1. The only positive to the film is it's visible. You can see what's going on most of the time. And nothing super offensive happens.